today we have a mower here, a Scott self-propelled with a Tecumseh 6.5 horsepower. The customer had told me that they had started it and it just kept on leaking out of the carburetor. And so they brought it over to me, and now we're going to replace it. The tank is bone dry, so it tells me they probably leaked all of it out. This definitely smells like gas. This is trash. So, what I want to do today is, I don't repair these. And the reason why is, you probably need a new seat. You probably need it would be a good idea to have another needle. It probably would be good to replace the primer bulb, clean it out, everything. Or you can get one identical to it that comes with a filter, that comes with a spark plug. Granted, not the best spark plug in the world, but it's a spark plug. And a new air filter gasket. This whole kit, $12. If you're going to buy this by itself, I don't know, let's say $5, and the other kit, you'll be lucky if you get it for $6, $7. There it is right there. So I just buy a whole new one. And it saves you the hassle. So first things first, let us take off the muffler. There's these little tabs that they can install to make sure the bolts don't rattle themselves loose. Just kind of bend them back so you can take it off. This one. Wonderfully nice. And if I remember correctly, this is a 7/16. You know what? Let me get some hardware prepared. It's like 55 degrees outside. So these bolts have a tendency of breaking, so when you do this, do it very carefully. Don't go, I have it on the lowest setting, because you don't want to snap that. Some motors you'll be able to actually screw it into here, but not lawnmowers. Not exactly sure why. That'd be kind of cool though. And it's probably going to be easier if we just take the cover off too. Nah, let's try not to. So what we're going to do now, man, I don't think so. I think we probably just will have to do that because I think the top is just going to get in our way. I think I hear a cameraman. Sometimes with these you have to take the oil dipstick out, but this one you do not. I've seen these with Briggs, I think it is, and they're not bad. Okay, it's a big gas tank. Anyway, where were we? We were at taking the side off. So if I'm not mistaken, these are 3/8. Let's get it open-ended wrench. I have a drawer over here that I keep probably the tools that I use most often. That really just kind of makes it so I don't have to constantly be looking for the same stuff over and over again. But what we will need to do is take off this little plate so we can make it a little easier on us. It's a 5/16. These are different type of bolt than the others, so it should be pretty easy. This should have a tension spring on it, so we're going to want to be careful. Okay, so let's remember this short little linkage with the spring on it goes to the plate. And it goes on the outer hole. Next. Gonna have to on others, there's a little spring that, if it didn't have the little plate, there's a spring on it. If it does have a spring, you don't want to take these bolts out. At least not both of them. Something else to kind of keep in mind. The top of the carburetor butterfly has a variety of holes. We want this one before we disconnect it. It's always good to kind of keep that as in your mind. So I reference these quite often. I think this time I might actually put a link to them if I can find them. I'm pretty sure they're just on Amazon though, but I'll look for it. To give us a little easier access to the fuel line, we take out the bolts that hold the air cleaner adapter on there. It's either a Phillips head screwdriver or a 1/4 inch. Are obviously different. They're not GS. Everyone has a big issue with Tecumsehs, but considering that they don't make any since they haven't made any since 2008, I think. So was that 12? Oh, that's permanently on there. Anyway, hasn't made any for 12 years, and the only problem I really run across with them is that they end up getting carburetor issues. That just completely disintegrated. Okay. Ooh. That's gooey. Take off the rest of it. Anyway, but the motor themselves, perfectly fine. If they would just have a better carburetor. And the sad part is, the old carburetors were actually the better ones, in my opinion. Because I can rebuild an older carburetor, and it will work way better than if you were to ever try to rebuild one of these. This is quite difficult. The fuel line's even disgusting. You know what? We're just not going to mess with it. I'm going to just take it off directly from the tank, but I'm going to have to block your view, so I'm just going to shut it off. Be right back. Okay. Took it right off. I want to bring something up. Sometimes these kits come with this fuel line. There's two problems with it. One, it's disgusting. I don't even know what it's made of. It's like more like a plastic. And two, this is the right length of fuel line. I took it off. I took off the old one and measured it. you could tell it's substantially longer. So if you're going to use too much line, it can cause a fuel delivery problem. So here's the best place to put that. Trash. Your fuel clips. Well, new to this motor. I like to put the fuel line on the carburetor first, because trying to put it back here, not the easiest. And there we are. That's too big of a fuel clip. Maybe I have to use one of these little ones. There we go. There's that one. That means this is probably too big too. So let's take the different one. Let's put that on there. We'll connect that later. Linkage. Going to the top one. Gasket is good on there. We're not going to mess with it. Looks like that clip is causing some problems. Let's put it down so it doesn't also cause problems with the linkage. There we go. Now this is the part that can get a little treacherous. You have to put this on behind, and it's required that you drop it at least 2 times. If you don't, then you're not doing it right. See, there we go. Now, I could probably put it on there correctly. There we go. Let's loosen that one a little bit. There we go. And tighten this one. There we have it. Okay, now that's done. I like to bend this right now because it's going to be a pain later. Where's the other one? Here it is. To put this little red tube through it. There we go. Smart me would have done this before I put the carburetor on. So let's take a 1/4 inch. That's 9/32. There we go. 1/4 inch. And do this the easier way, since we're already making it difficult for ourselves. New filter. One side has the hole, one side doesn't. Pretty self-explanatory. Put it on. Put it at an angle. Put this over it. And twist it on. Perfect. Now we need to put the crank vent hose on. Should be somewhere down here. Yeah, there it is. connect that. There we go. So this is going to be the tricky part. Now we have to put this linkage on again. And it's very important you put it the right way, because if you don't, let me get a pair of pliers. If you don't, the spring will get stuck in the main linkage, because this just kind of keeps tension on it, and it will just rev out of control. Naturally, it just keeps on doing that. Yet again, monkey with this a little bit. Be right back. So I kind of want to show you what I was talking about behind. You see how down in there the spring is behind the loop on the main linkage? You want to do that because if it's not, this will get stuck like that and it will just rev out of control. So I just put the linkage back through the main hole. I know it's blurry for whatever reason. This camera hates being close up. And I'm just going to put the other bolts on, and I will bring you guys back. Okay, found another one. Put that in. And now, I start with my hands. There we go. Let's check the oil. Oh yeah, I want to show this plug. So, this is an older plug. Obviously, it's an older mower. But it's very oily. It's been running rich, to say the least. A plug is a good indication of how your motor's running. A dirty, oily plug like that could just be that you're burning oil, worn out engine. The other types would be, I'll probably do a whole video without getting too much detail right now, but the two extremes that you would want to avoid is a white one and a dark. The white is too lean, darker is too rich. Anyway, putting that aside, let's see here. Oh, the oil's full. Nasty, but full. Okay, let me clean this up. We'll put some gas in there and we'll get her started. Okay, we're down. Excuse me. Allergies, I tell you. Okay. Put some fuel in her. This is non-ethanol. I'm not going to put a lot. Like I said, this isn't my mower. You don't buy a car with a full tank usually, do you? Well, I guess if you pay for it, you can. Anyway, so I brought back to kind of go over this part. The person that this is going to be, that owns this, was the same person that put 2-cycle fuel in the old mower, or the other mower, and yeah, obviously 2-cycle fuel shouldn't go in a non-2-cycle engine. So I have a sinking suspicion that's probably what happened with this too. That's why it was burning very rich. So, or not rich, but burning oil. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to feel the carburetor. Everything seems fine. I mean, granted it's a new car, but it shouldn't leak. You never know. This is probably like carburetor 564 made on whatever day. So, let's give it a try. Okay, there you have it. It pumped out a little decent amount of smoke in there. Like I said, I think the person's under the impression that you need to put 2-cycle fuel on these. When they come and get it, I'll make sure to tell them stop it. And I'm able to run for a couple minutes just to make sure. It seemed like it was running a little bit slow, but I want to make sure everything is good to go before I give it back to them. I'm going to balance the blade and sharpen it, of course. It seemed like it was pretty decent, but it kind of kicked back on the first time. You know what? Let's just try this again. Why not? A couple more pumps. There we go. Oh, that's good. Okay. False alarm. And the smoking is a lot better. It's smoking out the exhaust now. Maybe the smoke that we saw earlier burned out the cylinder, and now we just have to let the exhaust catch up. Okay, well, I will see everyone later. Please like, subscribe, and definitely comment below.